Would MAGA vote for Jeffrey Epstein if he was alive for president in 2028? Yes, without a doubt. They wouldn't even blink an eye. Jeffrey Epstein would say, hey, I made some mistakes, but you know what, MAGA? I'm going to give you no tax on tips. You're going to get no tax on overtime, and I'm going to demonize the brown people. Hey, Bob, I don't vote for the person. I vote for their policies. Morality, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit about morality? Hey, no one's perfect. Doesn't everyone deserve a second chance? Yeah, I know he's a pedophile and he molested thousands of little girls, but did you hear what he said? I'm going to get something out of it. I'm going to get no tax on tips. This is glorious. Make America great again. This is who they are. And in November and in 2016, they did the exact same thing. They didn't care about an adjudicated rapist, infidelities, making fun of disabled people, insulting a POW, stealing from children that are dying of cancer. He didn't care that he had dinner with a white supremacist, Nick Fuentes, in his house that went through Secret Service background checks, that he asked for the execution of 15 black men in New York City. He paid $15,000 for that ad. You didn't give a shit, did you? Not a damn thing. You didn't care that he didn't rent to black people. And you sure as hell didn't care about the insurrection where 5 officers died. Nope. Because why? Hey, no one's perfect, but I ain't going to vote for a libtard. Being gay is just a bridge too far. Being a black woman, it's just a bridge too far. That is outside the purview of God. But Jeffrey Epstein, hey, everyone deserves a second chance. I don't vote for the person, I vote for the policies. They would vote for Hitler as long as he promised them cheap eggs and cheap gas. And, let's not forget about no tax on overtime. How about Jeffrey Dahmer? Yeah, what he did in murdering people, it was bad, but you know what? I don't vote for the person. I vote for the policies. This is who they are. If you think that the Jeffrey Epstein files is going to move his base, it's not. They're going to pivot, or they just don't give a shit. Oh, well, just because he's there 1,000 times on the list, it doesn't mean he did anything. Oh, it was Joe Biden. Oh, well, he was probably baptizing kids. Maybe he was doing a Bible study because, maybe Jesus sent him there. Well, hey, who am I to judge? No one's perfect anyway. Don't we all deserve a second chance? This is who they are. This is the MAGA base. It is devoid of morality. And I'll give you a personal example. I don't debate MAGA because they have concepts of brains. My cat that licks his ass has more brain cells and more common sense than MAGA supporters. On the instances that I've talked to them briefly, my first and only and last question is the same. Why wasn't Donald Trump being found liable as an adjudicated rapist against E.G. Carroll in a court of law by a jury of his peers with 2 MAGA supporters that were on the jury? Why was that not a red line? Now, you're going to get a couple idiots that are like, oh, well, I did my own research, even though I can't read. It's all fake. But the majority of the time, well, there's other things to consider. I'm not kidding. They are saying that it is okay to vote for an adjudicated rapist as long as they get something out of it, as long as he promises them something. And my follow-up question, which is where they break their brains, if Donald Trump had sexually assaulted your mom, if your mom was E.G. Carroll, would you have voted for him? 90% of the time, the answer is hell no. Why would you even ask that? And they get defensive. But because it didn't happen to their mom, they don't give a shit because they got something out of it. And that lack of empathy is why they're not Christians, they're Pharisees. Love thy neighbor. You treat E.G. Carroll as if it was your mom. The officers, like Sitnik, as if he was my father. That is the kind of person that Jesus would be. They don't serve God. They serve the prince of this world. And their godly king wears orange diapers and shits his pants. That is who they are. And they cosplay as Christians and say, I build my wealth in heaven where moth and rust can't get to them. But yet you voted for what? Capitalism. Worldly wealth. Nothing more than capitalism whores. That's what you are. There was a man named Elijah in the Old Testament, and he lived by a creek bed for 3 years, being fed by birds, and the creek was dry because it was during a drought. You know what he didn't do? He didn't bitch and moan and complain. Oh God, why are these living conditions so uncomfortable? He was content with what he had. He was being tested. He valued his wealth in heaven, not on earth. You people have never known God. You've known white Jesus. And going back to that story, I said 90%. There is 10% that pause and actually think about it and would still vote for him. This is the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. Yes, are there some MAGA supporters that are just concepts of brains and just have no common sense? Yeah. But there's a part of them, we have to be honest, they're just not good people. They're not. They would rather burn this country to the ground than ever have a black woman run it. That's a fact. And they are extremely selfish. And they only care about one thing, themselves and their goddamn stupid ass guns. They don't care that 43,000 people die a year, 45,000, 47,000 some year. Nope. Freedom, freedom, freedom. They say, don't tread on me, right? Selfishness. But they don't give a damn if their guns or somebody else's guns treads on somebody else. But God forbid you have a tampon in a bathroom. That's a bridge too far. God forbid 0.001% of trans people are in college sports. That's a bridge too far. God forbid somebody that's a loser finishes 6th place instead of 5th place because of a transgender. That's a bridge too far. Or God forbid you vote for Pete Buttigieg, who has more brains in his pinky than Donald Trump has in his orange diapers that he craps. Because, that's outside the design of God. But if you're an adjudicated rapist and a convicted felon, hey, no one's perfect. I vote for the policies. Yes, they would vote for Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, they would vote for Jeffrey Dahmer. And yes, they would vote for Benito Mussolini and probably a lot of other horrible people, as long as they got what they wanted out of it, because they're selfish. It's sad, but we have to face the reality. Some people, it doesn't matter what facts you give them. They only care about themselves. Have a good day.